What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in to our first conference call. We look to start doing these on a monthly basis to engage the community and answer some of your more pressing questions. Some great questions you guys put up on Reddit. We appreciate the participation. This video is broken into two parts. So for the first part, we have the brains and soul behind the project, Dr. Saswata Basu. He was able to break away for a couple minutes from the dev side of things to take on a few of his favorite questions. In this part, he's going to share some of his answers, and then he had to break away back to his testnet duties. Incidentally, his battery cut out at the end, so you might notice an abrupt ending, but rest assured, he did get everything in that he wanted to. And then for the next part, we have Mo and myself, Derek, taking on a few additional questions where we give our own commentary and explanation with detail that's a little bit more granular. But yeah, without further ado, we can hop into Saswata's portion of the conference call. Enjoy. All right. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into the first Zero Chain conference call. We look to start doing these on a monthly basis to engage the community and answer some of your most pressing questions. Some great questions you guys put up on Reddit. We appreciate the participation. We have the brains and soul behind the project, Dr. Saswata Basu. Appreciate it. And he was able to break away for a couple minutes from the dev side of things to take on a few of his favorite questions from the AMA. He's going to share some of his answers, and then he's going to have to break away back to his testnet duties. So after that, myself, Derek, and Mo as well, we'll take on the rest of the questions and give some commentary. So now Mo can take away with the questions.
All right. So, given the time, we'll try to, we've selected some questions to go through. So, let's start with question 5. All right. So, what are some of the requirements to get listed on exchanges besides money that the community can help with to help further the process? What do you think about that, Pat?
Well, thank you, Mo, and thank you, Derek, for hosting the AMA. Thank you, Zero Chain community, for supporting us and helping us through this long product cycle that we have been through. It's a lot of work. What we are doing is truly innovative. I think if you look at, I'm just gonna do a little preamble before I answer questions, Mo. So I think if you look at all the cryptocurrencies that are out today, I think you will find very few, if none of the projects are doing as much research and innovation as what we are doing. So our strategy is to innovate on two fronts. One is on cryptocurrency as a whole, and the other is on the enterprises. Of course, I got onto the project at the beginning because I saw a need in the cloud environment to get IoT data onto the blockchain, but actually there's a lot of use cases that we are uncovering in the enterprise sector, and we want to address that with our platform today. What we have is the world's fastest blockchain platform in terms of finality, in terms of scalability, and as well as the token economics part of it, which we're gonna try to get enterprises slowly understand part of it. It's a lot of learning for them, but I think once they understand that would add a lot of value to the token economics of our coin, Z-chain, which is listed today on Bitfinex, Itfinex, and IDEX. Now, with regards to the cryptocurrency part, we are also innovating a lot of stuff. We are making it fast. We are making it free, so the transaction cost is 0 if you hold tokens. And we are also making it very secure compared to all other cryptocurrencies that are out there. So I think we have a lot of innovations. We have a lot of research partnerships with academia, and now we are progressing with our enterprise partnerships. So to answer your question, Mo, I cannot talk too much about the listing on exchanges because something that we have no control over. It's these trading platforms or exchanges is something that they decide. Now, what the perception is from their side is there is not enough community involvement. And I think what we need to do is, if you be active, spread the word about 0chain, what we're doing. I think we're innovating a lot of stuff. Try to understand what we're doing, ask a lot of questions. I think we have great admins and ambassadors that can help you with that. Hold meetups, sponsor events, become our professional services reseller. That's another way to spread the word. I think if you can help with that, then the number of people who are aware of the 0chain project will grow, and they will start holding tokens, and they will basically raise awareness and ask these trading platforms to have our token listed on various exchanges so that they can buy them.
Right. That's great. Moving on to the next question. So 5 and 10. Just let me make sure that we're on. Okay. So 5 and 10. What's your 0chain strategy plan to get the value of this coin back to ICO price, given the current market situation and low market interest in the project, manifested by the extreme low volume?
So there are two things happening. One, if you look at the market, the Ethereum market, I think the peak was 1,400 and it has gone down to 300. If you compare that value compared to where we are from the ICO price, it's about the same, or actually we're a little bit lower. But I think that because the volume has a lot to do with it. We have very low volumes, so the price could move very rapidly up and down. But it doesn't necessarily mean that is the true value of the project. I think if you look at what we're doing, we are doing something that's truly innovative. If you had told me that we had the fastest blockchain out there in January or February, our valuation would be a lot different than what it is now. It's just that the buyers right now are moving their funds into more safer cryptocurrencies or out of the market until the SEC and the regulators basically have an understanding of what cryptocurrency ETFs are. And that's kind of driving the market. In terms of raising the price, we're looking for adoption in enterprises to give credibility to our project. We also have already research partnerships, which we are going to announce. So I think we have credibility with academia. We're going to have credibility with the enterprise that will raise awareness. And we are also have now a PR strategy to let the consumers and community grow and be aware of our project, because we are doing, as I said, great things, and nobody knows the value of the project. And once they understand the value of the project, then they will view our token price differently. Okay.
Yeah, Mo dropped out. I know we kind of selected some of your specific questions. Do you have that list in front of you?
Yeah, I think Mo said the next one would be number 12. So I think the question is there a comparison table and how versus EOS, Zilliqa, Ethereum, Radix, and some of the other coins, and to assess our blockchain quality versus theirs. So I would say there are three three or four things that are clear, right? We are the fastest blockchain in the world. And you can look at our testnet. We have sub-second finality. We are also infinitely scalable in terms of transactions per second. Right now, we're showing on our testnet 1,000 transactions per second. I think it's 1,200 transactions per second, but we can go a lot higher depending on how we set up the blockchain. Second is we have no fees. So essentially, it's a zero cost transaction. Third is we are also designing a secure wallet. It'll be the first software-based secure wallet that nobody has today on the market. That's something in the pipeline. Fourth, we offer decentralized storage as part of our wallet. So you could have pictures, videos, you could store it through our app. That's also in the pipeline. And fifth is our token is the only one in the marketplace that has an intrinsic value of data, which, as you know, if you look at the AWS cloud, is continuing to grow. So that intrinsic value of data is captured within the token. And if you tell me there's a transaction, there's a coin out there that gives you transaction for free within a sub-second and can do that in a hack-proof manner, there is nothing out there except it's going to be us at the end of the year when we release our mainnet.
And we have that comparison table coming out, right? It's just we want to do our due diligence to make sure everything we put in there is accurate. Otherwise, you might upset some other projects. So that is coming, the comparison table.
Sure. Yes, that's coming out. Absolutely. You want me to move to the next question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think Mo identified question number 19. So I'm just looking at that. It says, for enterprises already running private blockchains such as Hyperledger, how do you plan to interoperate with these ledgers? What's your offering to these enterprises in case they already have a ledger? What are the direct benefits to the token holders from such offerings? So I would say there are a few items. We can work with Hyperledger. We basically provide auditability as a service because we have a full blockchain. So we work in parallel with Hyperledger and provide that, and that will be beneficial for people that are currently using Hyperledger, or they can use it as a substitute. Either way, we can work with IBM or we work with other partners like Accenture and some of the PwC, some of the other auditabilities. Now, the other is that how does it benefit the token holders? Well, with a wide acceptance of our technology and services within the enterprise, it raises the awareness of our project and raises the credibility of our project. And we believe that will raise the token price because it will encourage more buyers to come in and buy our tokens because it's a way to preserve or transfer asset. In addition, if you look at our crypto offering, we will have the fastest, the most secure software wallet, and the transactions are free. So I don't see why people would use, let's say, Ethereum or Bitcoin or some of the other currencies like Ripple, EOS to transfer asset when you can use us, where you can have a secure way and a fast way, sub-second way to send money across the world and with no fees. Why wouldn't you?
All right.
So
Mo's having connection.
Hey Mo, are you back on?
Yeah, sorry, I got cut off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, back on.
Okay, cool. So I think we were gonna go to question 26. Do you wanna ask that question to me, or do you want me to repeat that question?
I think Mo is still struggling.
Okay, so let me go through that.
But you go ahead through it. I'm just listening and I'm getting set up. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm also on 2% battery now, so we're gonna So let me go zip through these questions very quickly. Yeah. So it says, so Swata is a serial entrepreneur. As an investor in 0chain, how can this be a positive for the company? He'll just walk away once he makes his money. What makes a solid project is when a founder remains with the project. So to answer that is, I never walked away from a project. You know, sometimes projects are not successful because of various issues, bad luck, bad timing, what have you. But I always make an effort, and there's no reason as an entrepreneur why you would walk away from a very successful project. It's only when a project hits a wall or doesn't get accepted in the market. And what we're seeing now is phenomenal interest in our project with enterprises, with I'm sure with crypto currency holders. Once we have a mainnet, live mainnet, as I said, with one of the best ways to transfer asset. So I think to answer the question is, I never walked away from a project, and I don't see myself doing that unless, you know, something bad happens to the crypto world. So the next question is, where does 0chain see itself in 3 to 5 years from now? What is accomplished and what's still ahead for a longer term goal? So there are two things we want to be. One, we want to be a dominant blockchain enterprise solutions company that raises credibility and awareness across the industry. Number two, we want to be a high value token because we have the fastest transaction, we have no cost, and a highly secure software wallet. So we want to be a premium cryptocurrency platform, as well as a premium blockchain enterprise solutions company. So those are two goals, and they kind of feed each other. I think that's all the questions that I think there's one more question that I can answer. I think there was one more question. If a company decides to run their operations on 0chain and they hold the zchain tokens, does that mean the first company will have an advantage financially over the next company because the token value is appreciated? And the answer to the question is yes, the company one will gain in token appreciation, but company two may lose its token value because they may have bought that token at a high price, but that doesn't mean that's better, because they would have paid that amount of money to another service provider, let's say AWS. So that's still better than paying fees, because you will not get that back. At least whatever you bought at even at a high price, it's your tokens, and you can sell it at a loss, but it's still, you will get some money back. So I think even in a situation where the price declines and company two has a disadvantage, you still get the benefit of holding the token at a high price and be able to get something back, instead of paying fees to a company that you will never recover. So I think that's all I have time for now, because my battery is dying and I have to get back to dev mode. But thank you very much for giving.
There it is. That was perfect timing. Okay. So
he wasn't kidding about the battery, right?
Yeah. So we can just kind of like start doing some of the other questions now. I don't know if you want to start like
all right,
reading them off, and we can
let me
all the answers.
Yeah. Let me try to pull those questions out. Just if you can give me a sec.
Yeah.
All right, guys. It is Mo and I. We are going to hop into some of the favorite questions that we picked out, and we'll kind of alternate. I'll say one question, Mo will give his answer, and then I'll give my answer. So, without further ado, I will start with my question over to Mo, and then he'll give an answer. And that first question is, how serious is 0chain about programming language and tools milestone in 2019, can we expect you to roll out a full dApp supporting platform to compete with the likes of Ethereum, Neo, EOS, etc.?
All right. Hey guys, how's it going? So on that question, yes, so we'll be releasing a full environment in 2019 that will have smart contracts, etc. Now, the idea here is that we're not shouldn't be taken that we're competing with EOS or Neo or Ethereum. I mean, we see it as complementary. So it's if you want to use our platform, that's fine. If you want to use Ethereum, that's fine. You can still use our platform for the storage. You can still use our platform, for recording transactions, etc. If you want to use it from A to Z, that's fine. But we see, as with any platform they use in real world, there is integration costs. So people that are already built on Ethereum, might find there's a substantial cost moving all their code base to our platform, and would rather use just a bit of the services that we're providing. So it's not a must to use the whole platform to be on the smart contract in order to use the storage. So it'll be segmented. So that's on the environment. Now, Derek, looking at that question, actually, the first part is how serious we are about programming languages, etc. So we haven't. If the question is referring what language is going to be used to write smart contracts on, we haven't decided that yet. That said, if the question is referencing what programming languages we're using to build the protocol, then it might interest people to know that we're building it in Go. So because of Go parallel computing, they're known from parallel computing, and they're supported. Go was introduced by Google. So from a parallel computing perspective, I think it's a language to go to. I think that's my take on that question.
Great. Yeah, I mean, that pretty much covers everything that I was going to say. And that pretty much is just that we will have a full dApp environment with programmable contracts using the Go language, like Mo mentioned. And that smart contract protocol is not the first priority. The first priority is implementing e-storage and decompute and being an effective cloud storage protocol on the blockchain. So at mainnet launch, you'll see in Q4, you'll see our e-storage solution launched. So that'll be our focus in Q4. And then the other nice thing, and Mo kind of touched on this too, is the storage protocol will have the luxury of supporting storage for already functioning dApps. And this will give us a great environment to welcome dApps with our storage service to do more development on top of our protocol. So it'll be kind of like a good way to get people onto our platform that are already in another like a blockchain ecosystem, or just get their input on different things. That, hey, can you check this? How friendly are these? Is this programming language in your opinion? Blah 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 blah. So I think it's a great. It makes for a very warm introduction to new developers.
Yep, great. So taking another question here. What type of enterprises has the team been talking to? In which industry specific? And how is the feedback so far?
Good question. It's kind of focused on what industry, and I think, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing from Saswata, is he's more just targeting very big enterprises, because the target industry is fairly agnostic. Every large-scale enterprise relies on a lot of data use, compute costs, storage costs. So the reality is any big business can benefit from our book of solutions. What I'm seeing from Saswata and his team is they're targeting the big enterprises, doing fact-finding on what solutions would best suit them, and then kind of tailoring that solution towards them. So, keep in mind, yes, ZeroChain is a cloud and compute platform that could compete with AWS and Google Cloud, but we're also the fastest finality blockchain in the world. So our blockchain has value in and of itself. And there's a lot of demand out there right now for blockchain as a service using permissioned servers for transaction aggregation and auditability purposes. So the blockchain movement has already started with enterprises, and they're already using things like Hyperledger and so on and so forth. So that'd be my answer to that.
Yeah, just want to add to that on the industry. So, on the industry, so we've been talking to telecom companies. We've been talking to IBM itself, if you want to know. We've been talking to Fortune 100 magazines, Fortune 100 companies, and we can't release exact names, but Fortune 100 is good enough, right? Telecom companies is good enough. You can judge by the scale. IBM, I mention it by name because they have Hyperledger out, and we're looking into a way to interoperate with them and actually have maybe an integration where their own customer base can use our technology. So Hyperledger doesn't, it's fast, but it doesn't provide way for auditability. And we think working with them, we can have an offering for enterprises where they can introduce auditability. So it's a cooperation in that respect. Now we do compete in certain areas, but as with any market, there are room for it to cooperate, and there are places to compete. So those are Fortune 100, telecom, and the likes of IBM. I've mentioned also previously in the chat that we're talking to system integrators, so that will be basically resellers of storage, as Amazon or Azure, or all those that do have resellers of storage. So we're talking to all those guys, if you will. There are certain things coming down the line where we see not a priority right now, but we do require that we are on a colo, and we might be thinking about partnering with certain colo providers. So, but that's a thing a bit down the line right now. It's not a necessity for us at this stage because anyone can go to his preferred colo and use them. But it might be an added value down the line where we partner with certain colos and bring them in to offer certain prices for our users that want to use them. So that's one front that we're thinking about. As to what we're doing right now, I think we pretty much captured it there. So you wanna? I think that's it for me too on that question.
Sure. I'll hop to question number 3, and that is, how does ZeroChain plan on hiring and attracting good developer talent outside of academia without releasing their code on an open source platform?
All right. So So first, we're gonna be releasing our code on GitHub. All right. So let's get that out of the way. So we're keeping it to maintain our edge for now, but once mainnet is out, I think before mainnet is out, the code is going to be public. All right. So that's one thing out of the way. As to how we are today actually attracting talent, I think we're already attracting talent. So you can look at the team, you can look at the recent hires, and where they have worked. I might have touched on the chat on Phil specifically, and that's because he is the most recent hire. I mean, the rest of the team is as strong, coming from different backgrounds. So we have people, Phil is HP. We have people from IBM, I think Cisco, IBM, Cisco, and a couple of others that don't come on top of my mind right now. But the team is out there on the website. You can look where they work. So the talent is there. Attracting a new talent. All right. So attracting new talent, we're first of all, we carefully choose, who we hire. And us approaching enterprises, I think we tap into that pool immediately, because when you're approaching companies like IBM or the likes of IBM in that space, you get awareness and you get interest. So that brings talent. Going enterprise partnerships, that also brings the right talent from those enterprises that, say, hey, we've just partnered with this company, look at what they're doing, maybe there's a job, etc. The team is right now a solid 26 guys. So it's not like it's 4 or 5 guys that's just getting started. So they're on full throttle. Also, one very important thing, getting more people on a team at a certain stage actually might not make you go faster. It actually might delay you, because you have to get people up to speed. So, it's a balancing act, right? The team right now is at a good number. Getting from 26 to 50 is not gonna change things overnight. So our focus right now is actually to drive and keep the pace towards man-net. After that, all things are possible. So those are my answers. So we have the talent. We're releasing the code and GitHub, and attracting a new talent is a balancing act, as I said. That said, our exposure to enterprises, we believe, is putting us in front of the right people that might be interested.
Yeah, I think you made a great point there. Arthur Brightman from Tezos, the lead developer on Tezos, he responded to the question about why aren't you hiring more developers, to people that were asking Tezos that, and his response was that when you expand your team, you have to take 1 to 2 people, active, well-trained developers, to train those new developers. So you're actually taking away developer talent to train new developer talent. So it does, like Mike said, it slows you down. And kind of reiterating also what he said is our team is already staffed with PhDs, high-level things from ServiceNow, Oracle, Google, HP, Tandem. But if the question was more geared towards kind of the open source developer attraction, not necessarily within 0chain LLC, the response to that is yeah, we're going to reel in good developer talent. We will be open source. We will hold events, hackathons to bring on more devs. We'll get creative in that sense. And as stated earlier, we can help out so many already existing projects. Ethereum dApps can use 0chain as well. They already are. Or they're going to be starting to pilot our D-storage. And to that, I'd ask the question, what other blockchain can collaborate with other smart contract blockchains like that? It doesn't happen, and we're already doing it. So you can go on our site and look at our partners already. These are already functioning projects on other platforms that we're partnering with. So it gives us great network reach to developers with our ability to coexist and help already functioning platforms that have rich developer environments like Ethereum, so we can stay relevant like that. So yeah, I'd say that's my answer there.
Derek, just to add to that, sorry. I mean, you touched on a point that I totally missed. So right now, when we are being approached by our partners to actually use our code, and they're eager to. I mean, we're in connection with them, so that's one thing. But if you look at Ethereum or IOTA or EOS or all those names, the community has been engaged in meetups. So we do encourage actually raising awareness by meetups in the local. We cannot touch every part of the world without the community involvement. So it is very important to us that and we encourage it, that the community hold meetups, ambassadors hold meetups in the local community, whether it is, it doesn't need to be a full-scale hackathon like what EOS is doing now. So that will be on us later on, or any entity that the community wishes to form to carry these kind of things. So if you look at EOS, I mean, EOS UK, EOS, I think there's EOS UK, EOS Europe, and they're carrying those independently from Block 1, which is also doing its own thing. So we do encourage, let's put it that way, we do encourage, the community to, and we welcome it to ask us any questions to enable them to hold these meetups. So if you do have ideas and you want to reach your local community, and you want material, etc., let us know, and we're more than happy to help them.
Awesome. Should we hop to the next question?
Yeah, just let me pull it up. So, what are we doing for marketing? Do we have a thorough marketing plan? I don't see a single marketing expert on the team. Why would or wouldn't you consider hiring a professional marketing firm?
Short answer is we are. We're in the process of exploring PR firms, and this kind of ties back to the other question about enterprises, and it just a lot of like quality over quantity. There's no harm in the conventional approach of going through the typical social media circuit and paying a guy like ICO Watcherman 25 on YouTube to give you this favorable piece to its subscriber communities. There's nothing wrong with that, but the team comes from Silicon Valley and is approaching their marketing strategy like a Silicon Valley company. And this means that, if you want to chase big media outlets, like TechCrunch and all these other significant platforms with a lot of reach. So he's doing that, and we are doing that, but we want to do it the right way. We're not just going to spray and pray with all these different approaches. So that'd be my answer.
Yeah. So on that, my take is so a lot of people ask us why we're not doing Twitter, Facebook, etc., and we're putting all of that out. We're not discounting those, so that's the short answer. But Twitter, Facebook don't necessarily have high conversion rates, so we can put all the content out and say, look at this, look at that. It doesn't mean that we're getting the right audience, and even if we're getting the right audience, doesn't mean we're gonna get them. We're not gonna have that conversion into our community. So, it might be like, okay, another project in the space. So, doing it, first of all, doing it with the enterprise and getting the enterprise actually to cross market, or not cross market, as actually it is in a sense cross market. Yeah. So we partner with them. They're using our technology. They say they have every interest to say that they're offering this a new technology, blockchain as a service or storage or whatever you want, because then they're actually increasing their top line offering, and they want their customers to know that the top line has something new, and that they are a progressive company. Doing that, it will actually bring interest into us indirectly. At that point, it would be actually, we can leverage that, and with a proper PR firm, target Twitter, target Facebook, etc. Because then there is credence that this is not just another project that is tweeting on Twitter, because there's like 1,600 projects doing that already. So, cutting through that noise is not easy. All those streams, all those tweets, it's not easy to look at 1,600 companies and say, okay, this is the one and this is not, unless you want to go in and dig. But if you see a name like IBM, if you see a name like Google, if you see a big name of a Fortune 100, Fortune 500 attached to our name, then that tweet all of a sudden becomes, wait a second, let me stop that. So it adds a better way to do conversion. So our conversion rates can be higher, because right now doing it a plain vanilla and just tweeting, we don't think so, and the stats don't support that it is going to be a high conversion. So it is money down the drain in our opinion if it's not done properly. I think that's my
so now let's jump to number 5. I would like to know more about how the average user, like gamers, students, mothers, millennials, would be intrigued to use 0chain. Could it simply substitute a cloud service like Apple Cloud or Google Drive in a way people would willingly prefer to use it, where the convenience is already there?
Right. So I'll start from the last sentence there, where the convenience is already there. Very interesting point. So today, aside from cost, you use Google or you use iCloud because it is a quick, it's a plug and play. You click it, you upload or you download, and it's easy. So and this is something that, by the way, is very lacking in the crypto space, ease of use. So we will have in the wallet, it's like a Dropbox feature where you basically can upload your images, videos, etc. and download them. So that will basically cut through the ease of use and the convenience. So now the question becomes is, if I'm paying for iCloud $50 a month for, let's say, a terabyte. I think that's the ongoing rate today, about $50 or $100 a month for 1 terabyte. Would I want to pay that if I can have the same service, same reliability, which is very important, by the way, same reliability, maybe even better. I'll get to how it is better. If I'm saving on the cost as well, and I have the same convenience, right? Then why not use something that doesn't cost me? Well, it can cost you, yes, by you holding tokens, but those are assets, so it is yours. It's not like $50 that you spend and you're never going to see back. So yes, the price can fluctuate, but it is better than spending the 50 and getting back to zero. So with us, take yourself a spending 50, but at the end of that month, that 50 might be 30, so you still have some money, or it can be 100. $100. And hold on, that $30 is gonna probably get you the same amount of storage, depending on the ask price at that point in the market from developers. So it is not a sunken cost. Now on the reliability part, so today when you upload your videos and your images onto iCloud or Google, even as a retail, forget about you being an enterprise that's using the AWS and storing data there. It's a casual user using iCloud or using Google. You don't have any idea if these guys are actually storing the data and the data is easily retrievable, right? In fact, if you go and try to download files that have been uploaded about a year or 3 years ago, you'll notice that it is not available immediately. And sometimes Google actually asks for 24 hours to retrieve those files. So what we're doing, but at the end of the day, you have paid for $50. You never said that $50. I want, you can go store it, and I don't mind taking it back over a week's time when I want it. You paid for easy in and easy out. So what we do, so Amazon, so that's on the Google and iCloud. On the Amazon side, they say, I think they pride themselves on 11.9. So what do I mean by 11.9 is, I think it is 11.9 if I'm not mistaken. 11.9 reliability, so 99.99 after that percent reliability that your data is always there and it is not lost, etc. What we do is actually we do checks that the data is actually there. In the case of Amazon or in the retail of Google and Cloud, Google and iCloud, you have to trust them. So we say we're almost at 15 nines. I think it is 15 nines. You still have to do the exact, or 16 nines. So because we are actually actively checking. So you don't have to trust a central entity that says we're storing the data. So that's another add-on on the reliability aspect. So convenience is going to be there, reliability is going to be there, and if you're paying for it anyways, and it is as convenient, then why wouldn't you use something that it's not sunken cost? It is actually the money is there for you when you want it out. Maybe it is not at 100%, maybe less, even maybe more, but not zero. I think that's my take on it.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a good deep dive on it. So yeah, I mean, we're working on infrastructure first, right? So consensus protocol, econ protocol, e-storage protocol. We're working on those things, which are very, very early stage right now, those parts aren't early stage. But the other ways that we could appeal to gamers, students, and millennials once this infrastructure is in place, which it almost is, it's early stage for some other ways we could appeal to this crowd as well, using our infrastructure. So there's a couple of ways we could dive into this. So our blockchain has, as you stated, the fastest finality in the world, and this translates to efficient, high-traffic use of our chain, extremely efficient. And we're seeing a potentially huge transition into blockchain-based gaming. You've seen Game of War on iPhone. It does a ton of volume and money, and so does Fortnite. But one way it's huge is through the purchase of these skins and in-game purchases. And one way that blockchain is forecasted to revolutionize gaming is through skin trading. Billions of dollars are spent every year on skins. Skin trading right now is exclusive to the game that you're in, but blockchain can enable that skin to be traded for other skins on different games or the next iteration of that game series. So if you look up Wax, a platform called Wax, they're doing this. And back to ZeroChain would be a great fit for this given its performance. So that's just one way that our protocol can appeal. We also have a compute platform that can enable you to play, in theory, PC games using your compute storage. This is called cloud gaming. It already happens. People already use AWS for cloud gaming. Additionally, once our decompute is ready, as you may have seen in Telegram and whatnot, you'll be able to mine other cryptos using your zero-chain allocation, your token allocation, for zero cost on decompute. So that's another draw to millennials. Usually you have to pay high electricity costs, and that affects, your bottom line for mining. But if you have a zero-cost solution that can do compute, granted it's not going to be it probably won't be as effective as some dedicated ASIC miners or GPU miners, but it's zero cost. It's still generating revenue. That's some ways, and then like more detailed it perfectly already, just with our decompute protocol. That'll be plugged in after our destorage protocol. All of these different platforms that you can build on top of ZeroChain will be there at the start of mainnet, and then you can branch out from just a cloud storage solution. So that's my input, and that kind of wraps up our questions. I don't know if you have anything more to add, Mo.
I think that's about it. I think that captures the gist. I mean, we can go into other applications that we're seeing and people are approaching us for, but you can extrapolate from what you just mentioned. One thing that is might be worth it. So people have been talking about exchanges, etc. There is a move towards decentralized exchanges, and we've seen Barnett take a recent step in that direction. Phoenix before them, they took with Phoenix. So there seems to be a move in that direction, and when you're doing trading on decentralized exchanges, transaction speed matters. The cost of that transaction matters. So I'll leave it there. If you want to extrapolate on that, just a teaser.
Yeah. I think the easy way we can sum all of the exchange atmosphere, and especially in this crypto winter, is there's currently a massive shift unfolding with the exchange landscape, and it's related to regulatory, and it's also related to how these exchanges are just in general set up as entities. So there's a lot of shifting. You're seeing it through DEXs, through like ADAX, and they all have their U.S. divisions popping up, and then with the box exchange coming out, it's crypto asset trading is becoming a lot more formalized, and it's causing this shift in landscape. And the listing process is a lot different than it was even 3 months ago. And trust me, we're working every day on it, and we are exploring the best options for us. And it's all about timing. So I think we want to emphasize to the community that we're not just ignoring this. It is on our plate every day. So that's all I got. I don't know if you want to say any more closing remarks, Mo.
No, I'm cool, man. I think that's it. Well, for me, is
I just want to I would like to thank everyone for tuning in, and stay tuned, I guess. Yeah. That'll wrap up our conference call, and yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next month. Cheers.
Cool.
Cheers.